an unmistakable build-up of US military assets. And no matter how routine this live-fire drill may be, it's an image that won't be lost on North Korea. Paula Hancock's CNN, Pocheon, South Korea.
Well, when you buy meat, you might not consider how to produce, but that meat could be the result of labour exploitation. In Brazil, some workers on cattle ranches toil for years with no pay. Our Shasta Darlington has a look at how a friar there is fighting back.
Here in northern Brazil, cows feast on rolling pastures carved out of the steamy Amazon jungle. The famous grass-fed beef, a staple at home and shipped off to foreign markets from Hong Kong to the UK. Few consumers even think about the human cost. Xavier Plassat, however, has made it his life's mission. A French Dominican friar on the front line in the battle against extreme labor exploitation, what Brazil defines as modern-day slavery.
The main point about slavery is that somebody wants to make profit with zero cost. And here, more than everywhere, it's easy. You are on a frontier of farming or ranching.
Araguaína, a typical frontier town, where the mechanic's shop looks like a triage center for tractors. And the only markets are farmers' markets.
How are you?
Good to see you.
It's here that Plassat works with the Catholic Pastoral Land Commission, or CPT, coordinating the national campaign against exploitation. He says roughly 25,000 Brazilians are lured into slave-like conditions every year.
The roots is mainly the extreme vulnerability of entire communities who are have no access to their rights.
But he's fighting back with a network of agents and informants in those same communities who send tips to federal authorities. This has gotten some of the church activists killed.
I don't say we want to be martyrs. It's not the... we try to be present to share the suffering and to help them.
With the help of the Pastoral Commission, more than 50,000 workers have been rescued since 1995, when the government created its anti-exploitation mobile units. João Luiz da Costa is one of them. He was rescued in a raid the day before. He tells me he hadn't been paid for 7 months, but never wanted to ask for help.
If my family had found me in that situation, I would have been so ashamed. I pray to God for help. I've never been a burden on anyone.
Now, Costa is staying at a safe house provided by the Pastoral Commission. So, from what João is saying, the Commission really has a reputation among rural workers. This is where they go when they need help.
Yes, it seems to me.
But Plassat warns that Brazil is in danger of sliding backwards as it cuts spending on the mobile units.
Today they work with, I think, 4 national teams. 8 years ago they had 10 national teams.
Government inspectors themselves say diminishing resources lead to huge delays in following up on those tips. One of the main tools used to shame employers into compliance has also been undermined. Every year, the Labor Ministry publishes a dirty list of companies caught exploiting workers. But recently, its publication has been repeatedly blocked. Then there's the increasingly powerful rural lobby in the National Congress, which has pushed to relax Brazil's very broad definition of slave labor. Most important, Plassat says, Brazil has failed to tackle the roots of exploitation.
Impunity, greed, vulnerability, misery. If you don't address at the same time all of it, you will have probably the same persons coming back to the same cycle of enslavement.
The question for now remains, at what cost is our beef being produced? Shasta Darlington, CNN, Araguaína, Brazil.
Thanks to Shasta for that. You're watching the International Desk, and the power will ruin you. That's what the Pope is telling world leaders. Ahead, what he wants to see more of. We'll have his unexpected TED Talk message. That's next. Stick around.
In 2011, we at EDOF planted a seed with the aim of creating an ever-expanding forest. We nurtured that seed and helped it grow. Inspired by the ethics of giving, our seed grew into a strong tree. Branches emerged with similar aims of compassion, humanitarianism, and love. We spread our seeds to help even more people, as blessed is the influence of one true loving human soul on another. In Syria, our aim is to provide relief to 12 million in need, 3.8 million refugees, about half of whom are children. We use our reach to raise awareness of the 30 million slaves in the world today, of the thousands of children trafficked through Europe and the US. We continue to grow into cutting-edge medical research. Our mission, make a difference to people's health, save lives, and support NGOs that plant more seeds.
Thinking of banking in Africa? Think Zenith. Zenith Bank PLC is one of the biggest banks in Africa, with about 1 million shareholders and over 300 business offices in Nigeria,